Yo, what is going on? This is Dana Patrick over at Tech Marketer. Just doing a pretty quick review on this newest release, the April 10th release from AgencyZoom. And it's not a massive release, but it's got a lot of really good stuff on it, like really
It,
useful, beneficial stuff.
it does. I think as we saw this yesterday, I was more impressed with not just what they released, but how it's going to shape what's next and how the I keep talking about the future of these platforms and the future of insurance and how we communicate from an agency standpoint, how we get platforms to talk to each other and how we continue to refine our workflows. This is this was the foundation for some incredible stuff. So I think before we get too far in and lost into our own words here, I'm going to share my screen and let's take a look and let's kind of dive into this.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't done this before, and it triggered something that we have never done before. So if that
Yeah,
kind of gives any indication of how strongly we believe in what this could do going forward.
yeah. So obviously, first on the list here is that this came out 4/10/2024. The addition of adding driver's license numbers and states to the drivers was a big deal, especially when it comes to pushing data into the raters. Secondly, is retrieving data, the drivers and the vehicles from the policy management systems. That one's got me excited because of what it's going to do in the future. And I think what is we have been trying to do from our agency and even with Tech Marketer is that's kind of an exciting piece. And then the last one for all my commercial folks out there, huge piece is especially if you niche into just a couple of different industries. If you've got NAICS codes, you can specifically drop automations based on that NAICS code now. So
Right.
if it's they're a residential electrician and you put in that NAICS code for the electricians, it's going to fire specific automations to that subsect of the industry versus others, which is incredibly powerful. And I probably know, I mean, I can't count on two hands how many people that's going to impact immediately in our circle. So,
Yeah, that's
uh,
huge info. If we just go down the list here, just this policy and driver vehicle info. I mean, just the way that my brain works, like I'm already trying to figure out how we can potentially utilize this. And you kind of alluded to it, the drivers just being able to push that info into the radar is huge. But I'm even thinking staying inside of AgencyZoom with that vehicle info. Step
mhm.
one is storing the info. Step two is being able to segment based on that info. So imagine being able to look at your book and find everybody who's got a Kia or a Hyundai, right? I mean, that's a huge deal right now. Being able to find placements for that, or if you work with a lender or a dealership, being able to find all of the people that have a 2010 or older vehicle. If you do any sort of vehicle warranties in your agency as well, finding any sort of make and model. I mean, I know that the last generation of Chevy Equinoxes was had a terrible engine. They went out all the time. So,
Yeah.
segment by 2010 to 2017 Chevy Equinox and hit them with a cross sell for a vehicle warranty. I mean, there's just the possibilities of segmentation and cross selling on that are gigantic.
Well, and so I know that this is, the vehicle information has been in existence for a little while. So, and not tremendously long, maybe I'm gonna really overestimate my thought process here, but I think it's probably a year at most. It hasn't, it's not been there a year. I couldn't tell you exactly, but I know some of the folks out there probably could. Uh, the biggest thing for me is, for all of the vendors that are out there that are integrating or have that are looking at either integrating with AgencyZoom or choosing to rely on Zapier or some sort of third party connection, this is a piece that third party connection, the Zapier, doesn't allow you to connect. So if we have the VIN numbers, the year, make, model, VIN, the ownership type, driver's license numbers, what state they're in, that's not information that is able to be used through a third party vendor. It has to be done with the direct integration. So if you're out there and you have any sort of leverage with vendors who are looking to integrate, push them because this is a big piece. And there's one particular one out there that's kind of in my head that I'm kind of leering at them quietly through the internet here. Um, and that goes into the state license and driver's license, right? Being able to continue to push that stuff matters. What happens if Bernita, she's got licensed in Ohio, she's still there, but we just moved to Illinois. I know what Illinois driver's license are. It's actually really easy to go figure out what your driver's license number is in Illinois. There's a website dedicated to it in about 4 other states. So I just need to know your middle initial and your birthday, and I can find your Illinois driver's license number. It's ridiculously easy. Other states, not so much. So if y'all could get on the program, that would make my life easier. But I
Not
think
creepy at
actually,
all either.
not creepy at all. Before I go anywhere else, this is something I wanted to hit right here. They alluded, so AgencyZoom alluded to this. So automatic retrieve driver info and vehicle information from the policy management system. So I'm a little leery that this might be Vertafore only, that it might only pull that information from Vertafore. Because I don't use a Vertafore AMS, I'm a little leery that might not be a benefit to me. But if you do, or if it's open up to everyone, the ability to pull that information in on the requote tools in the service center. So they just plug this in there. This isn't an update, but if you didn't actually read this, you glossed over it. This is the reason this video needs to exist today.
Right.
Everything, and I think Dan, you're on the message right now of renewal pipelines, especially for
Yes.
the hard market and hard market states. Renewal pipelines are incredible, and what we've been able to do has kind of really pushed, I think, a number of agencies forward, years, in their automation and saved them an incredible amount of time. But
Right.
now, from a personal standpoint, we just moved to PL Rater over EasyLink's rating engine because of the integration and being able to take information from our ingest form into AgencyZoom, into PL Rater. And then on renewal, we can take the information out of NowCerts and push it into PL Rater to help create this cohesiveness and then export from PL Rater back to AgencyZoom. This reduces some of that step where you don't have to go from the AMS to the rater. You can go stay inside your CRM, stay where that service opportunity is, stay where that renewal requote is going to be, and be able to pull that information in and shove it directly to your rating engine because it's going to connect through the service center. So I'm huge on this one right here for the personal line side for sure.
Yeah, my hope is that, just a couple weeks ago, we released the video on how to get stuff out of the service center into a parser and then into the new lead side inside of AgencyZoom. My hope is that this eliminates the need for that by being able to, have a requote, essentially automations based off of what you're seeing right here. So
Yeah.
fingers crossed on that one, that's where they're heading on that.
Yeah. So we obviously hit on the driver's license a little bit. The last one,
this one's so huge.
right? So, we focus in. I have obviously a personal lines department and our commercial lines department. We huge subscriber to shout out to David Carruthers and the Killing commercial community.
Always.
But without knowing enough about commercial insurance, when I jumped into the program 16, 17 months ago, maybe a little longer than that now, I decided that I didn't know enough about it to go into a niche that wasn't talked about on a regular basis. Something I had a little bit of experience. So David talks often about residential service contractors. And there's a couple reasons that he chooses residential service contractors that I won't go into. But I figured, you know what, if David's doing it, and this is what he talks about, we can learn more doing the same thing. So we did. And right. The ability to narrow in on NAICS codes, and we focus in on 5 different codes, but they're all residential service contractors, or service contractors that lean residential, and there's reasons there. But we can communicate differently to the electricians than we can the HVAC guys. And the HVAC guys and the plumbers are essentially the same thing in our world, really, for that code. But man, the ability to push this in here and use that NAICS code and push out specific automations based on their business class.
Yeah, that's going to open the world.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like, yeah, it's hard to even verbalize it because in my head, I'm just like, okay, now let me go find all my restaurant owners that I don't have liquor policy for, because now I have a market for liquor liability, or like
Yeah.
you were saying, like your home service people. Like, okay, I I've got the electricians, like you said, that need a certain set of automations, but my lawn care people need a completely different set of automations. So, and that being able to segment based off of that is going to be monumental, especially
Yeah.
again, if you are a killing commercial person, again, just I will never miss an opportunity to pump up David Carruthers. Not that he needs it from us, but if you're in the killing commercial side, this is going to be a game changer inside of AgencyZoom.
And not just for the new business, but imagine the smart cycle, or you lost the opportunity this year, right?
Right,
Most of these accounts, we don't win the first year, right? We saw a 3% win rate last year on what we were targeting. We're seeing a 35% win rate on what we're targeting this year. And most of it is because we talked to them last year. We continued to talk to them through the year. We followed the solicitation cycle that he promotes. And now we're going back in and doing it again. We showed consistency. We had on brand messaging. But now you can use this business classification to target down and drill down even further. This really is, I mean, in my mind, AgencyZoom is the best uh, insurance specific CRM on the market, which is, I mean, personally, this is why my agency's on it. This is not a
sure,
tech marketer
right,
choice. This is a Patrick and the McBride agency choice. For us, it's the best. And
right,
this continues to show why, where it will continue to drive to be as powerful as something like a Salesforce or a HubSpot, because those are the customizations you can do in those bigger platforms
right.
that AgencyZoom's cruising the right direction. So
Yeah, and
that's
to
kind of
and
the
just
breakdown.
yeah, and just to be clear too, I know we talk about AgencyZoom a lot. We don't get any kickbacks from AgencyZoom. It's very important to all of us at Tech Marketer that we actually don't get kickbacks from anybody, because it helps
Correct.
us be as neutral as possible when making recommendations for what system to use. So this is literally just us going out of our way to promote this because of how big it is and how many people that we know use AgencyZoom. So don't think that we're saying this because they're going to pay us something after the video's done, because that's 100% not the case, and by
No.
design.
Yeah. And full disclosure, I don't get a discount on my AgencyZoom either. So as an agency, we're paying full price. We have the pro plan. We have all the users that everybody else does, right? The same user seats, the same costs. We're not on a grandfathered plan anymore. We had to upgrade a couple years ago. So we're out there spending our hard-earned cash, making the choices we need to make as an agency. So I think this is the first of many of these types of release reviews and how it can impact you. So at the end of the day, if you're using AgencyZoom, if you have questions on how this can impact your business or what Tech Marketer can do to help you, feel free to reach out to us. We'll make sure that there's a link down below to jump on a call with Dan, who is absolutely one of the smartest people I've ever met, and the reason we have him as a CTO in our office to help keep my squirrel rabbit trailing brain on track is because of his experience and his insight into how to best use the information, segment that information, and deploy it in a real and practical way. So, Dan, any final
Well,
thoughts?
I think that might be the nicest thing you've ever said about me, and I think it's only because we're being recorded right now. But that's all right. I'll
A
take
hundred
it
percent.
because
A hundred
because
percent.
now it's on record for everyone to hear. So no, I agree. I think as they keep releasing these bigger releases inside of AgencyZoom and inside of other platforms, we'll do it as well. As they pop up, I would look for this to be a semi-regular thing to keep your eyes out for.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time.